It's interesting. I was reading an article and I came across, because I'm interested in finding out more how to lead and, today's challenges and crisis management and all these elements. And there's an interesting articles by McKinsey in the World Economic Forum. And I'm gonna take a quote out of it. It mentioned something very interesting. And as I was reading, I was building the link between it and the leadership challenge. So it says, what you need now is a strong network of teams that share a purpose and collaborate efficiently across groups. Does this bring out to you any fundamentals or practices from TLC? Does it bring anything to the forefront?
100%, 100%. I think the Burganers will all have heard you say in the workshop this one statement: no leader will ever achieve by himself or herself, nor will they achieve anything extraordinary by themselves. But I think in times of crisis, where there is so many unknowns, the more that you can bring the people with you, the more a leader will be surrounding themselves with more ideas, with more willingness, with more resources, etc. So the first thing that your reading brings to mind would be one of our 8 fundamentals, and that is leadership is a relationship. My goodness, just think of a team. And the traditional way of looking at a team is, you work with the people. But what is a relationship? A relationship is actually the space between the people. And so when we understand what relationships are, in times of crisis, it's those invisible and intangible things that are often hidden in relationships between people that just come out because there is so much pressure in times of crisis. So when TLC refers to leadership as a relationship, it's talking about it's important to nourish the relationships and to ensure that that relationship is as healthy as it can be. And the reason for that is what's in the middle of the people, the 2 people or the 10 people in the team, is trust and sharedness. And so when you asked me, did your reading connect me to any fundamental or practice? Clearly, I've linked it to a fundamental. But if I link now to the practices, I wouldn't say it links me to a specific practice, but it does link me to the thread that joins all 5 practices together. I often call it the red thread. And the red thread has a purpose of making sure that the 5 practices don't stay in isolation of each other, but they come together, and the next always brings strength to the previous. So it makes the 5 practices almost process-like. And the red thread that joins them together strengthens the trust and strengthens the sharedness. So when we're in times of crisis and there's 2 or more people with a common purpose, the thing that is in the space, or what the space is taken up by, is this conscious and intentional approach to this purpose and to this genuine care. So it's all about, we are going to be able to help each other, depend on each other, because our place, our space, our human system, that's why I don't call them teams, I call them human systems. They're quite self-correctional. And I often say they're like an amoeba, that, one twists, well, the rest comes with it, and it just continually changing. That's what we need in times of crisis. And it will healthily continually change, continually self-correct, if our space is full of a common purpose, full of sharedness, and full of trust. So
I fully agree with you, Debbie. I mean, we felt it, you know, because, I mean, if we want to talk about the team where I'm operating in, we felt much increased closeness, everything you're talking about. And although we were far apart, separate, each one working from home, and yet just we came closer together, the trust increased, the empathy increased, the support increased. It's just, it was a beautiful. And still part of me asks the question now, amazing, you know, why did this happen?
Yeah, yeah. Well, something that I think might come up later in our conversation is leadership becomes extremely personal in times of crisis. And maybe I can expand on that in, I don't know where you're going with your questioning, but you are so correct. Times of crisis, oh no, I've even got goosebumps saying this, bring us closer together. And even if there are negative things in the space, in the team, the need for that empathy, the need for that personal connection, it will almost spit everything else out, because we are humans who need support. We need trust when we don't know where we're going and we don't know what's happening around us.